Well, I'm angry. I've had enough of these people. They're a bunch of Christian muddy scum running giant death factories, leaving babies alive, selling their body parts. What more do you need to know about these people? I'll go out and face this scum. They literally crawl out from under rocks. They got green looking skin and they run around screaming, "We love Satan, we won't eat babies." Have them on video. Hillary's in the creepy weird sick stuff, man. She sleeps in the same room with that creepy weird old woman when her mother wears a hood over her head. What the hell? Lady number one is ugly. Imagine how bad she smells, man. I'm told her and Obama just stink. Obama and Hillary both smell like sofa. Literal vampire pot belly goblins hobbling round coming after us. My spirit gets close to that evil and I feel it go high, high. We're such self-centered crap, we don't even notice hell itself rising up against us. Millions of boring people, the very worst type, and I'm so pissed. We're gonna stab your daughter at the mall. Oh, oh, oh. We're gonna stab your wife, your son. Ooh. We're gonna stab you with a butcher knife. And then the police chief is gonna say, "We love our Somalis, we love our Muslims. Oh, they're so good, oh, they're so sweet."
Well, I was sitting around watching Fox News this morning while I was working out, and they had the police chief on there, you know, the Fair and Balanced channel. He was talking about these kids down there and how they're getting stabbed. But, oh, we got to be tolerant. We got to love our Muslims. That's all I got.
That was good.
We do gotta love our Muslims.
We do. I think he was talking about more of a culture thing. Tolerance, accepting cultures.
Well, that's okay.
All right. Whenever we get settled here. Sherman, you're supposed to be fast.
We're passing the mic.
Passing the mic. Can you hear me?
UMC, yes,
Cool.
we can hear you.
Okay, cool.
Beautiful. What's up, guys?
How you doing? Good morning, afternoon.
Morning.
Morning.
Welcome to the Mouth of York podcast. With me, I have Steve Easlon. And then I have Sherman. What's your last name again?
Merritt.
Merritt?
Like a merit badge. With 2 R's and 2 T's.
Okay. Sherm's our drummer in this band. We haven't decided, but we were thinking of calling ourselves a clump of cells.
We don't know yet, though.
We're not sure. But you could still call us, technically,
A clump of
a
cells?
clump of cells, and you wouldn't be wrong.
We could just be called
Even if
carbon.
that's not our name.
Carbon. Hey, that's a good one.
A clump of carbon.
Just carbon.
Carbon. Everything's carbon.
We
Made
are
of carbon.
everything.
What about hydrogen?
Carbon.
I think hydrogen
No, I'm kidding.
comes from carbon. Isn't everything carbon, even gases? I don't know, dude. I'm not a scientist. I just watch Breaking Bad, okay?
No,
Automated.
you are correct. Everything is made of carbon.
The vast majority of things are made from carbon. But carbon's just an element.
That's what I'm saying.
So all the other elements are got to be something that's not carbon, right? So if you have pure, right, iron's an element.
I don't know, dude.
But, you've
But
got
those-
like oxygen and, hydrogen. Don't that make water? 2 oxygen or
Yeah.
2 hydrogens and oxygen make water.
Yeah, for sure. But I think just iron makes iron. It's an element.
I don't know. I just know Heisenberg told me everything was carbon. All right.
You have to look up the element chart.
Well, no, like you're right. Like most of the shit is made from carbon,
He
but
said
there's
everything.
still.
He was like, every fucking thing is made from carbon. He didn't say some
I
things.
witnessed it.
He said everything, and I was just like, damn.
So we're going off of Breaking Bad on this.
He
No,
is a
really.
scientist.
Yeah, he is. He was.
He's
yeah.
a chemist, and he would know more than us.
Yeah. But then again, it's written by
Just gotta look it
Hollywood,
up, man.
and
This
Yeah.
is true.
their whole thing is deception. So
I don't
shit,
want to
it could
look
just-
it up. I want to
Yeah,
just know
let's
this
just
because this
fucking-
is stupid.
Who gives a shit, dude?
Periodic table.
Sherman, why are you here if you can't tell us these facts?
you
Okay.
got to know,
Periodic table, man. That's all we need. Never tell us what we need. to know.
bro. We all know about the periodic table. Comes
don't.
monthly from the women,
Oh, yeah, that's true.
right?
It affects us
missing out.
all. I think that's the real.
That's what everything's made out of. Truly,
Yeah. That's why women
the
aren't
ups
supposed
and
to
the
vote.
downs.
Because
Okay.
once a month they make irrational decisions, okay? And if it lands on that once a month, dude, our whole country and all of our freedoms could go away.
Yeah. So there's that mob that's gonna be out.
It's the truth, and I'm not afraid to say it, right?
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and disagree and just put that on you.
Okay.
All right.
I'll take
So
all
all
the
the feminists that are gonna attack Steve, just
Let's go.
Hit
We're
me up.
equal, right? Let's do this.
yeah.
I hate to say it, but yeah, that's how it's gonna be. You know,
Well, okay.
you want to do, you want to do my job. Here's your shovel. Go
Boys
dig a
can be
hole.
girls and girls can be boys.
You know what I mean?
Okay, what was our topic today? Did we
It
have
wasn't
something to discuss?
trashing women on voting rights. I can tell you that much.
Did
No,
we
that was
did
bad.
we just take this a little far right at the beginning?
No.
I mean, dude, men had to vote in order for women to get the vote. What the fuck happened?
Or it could have just been they would have been able to vote regardless.
They were just like, dude, there was some issue at the time that some party was like, okay, women agree on this shit. And then the guy was like, too bad they can't vote. He was like,
I don't know.
Oh, man,
You,
fucked it up,
you
yeah.
genius.
Dude.
It definitely seems like women could have been able to vote just fine, and that's just seems like
no, yeah, I agree. I mean, I guess
power over a certain group of people. That's where it's like dude, my mom, she's my dad got sick and he couldn't work anymore, so my mom had to take it all on her, keeping all of it, like, so doing the man thing, whatever that means. And she's done a pretty good job, and still to this day is a teacher in ECISD, which
I
is just not okay.
My mom
Okay.
was dad, so I understand
Yeah,
that.
right. So like it's not like they're incapable, and yeah, my mom should definitely be able to vote. She does that as a human, just as an American.
Yeah, guys, I wasn't serious, okay?
No, I think
was
you were
just-
serious, and I think you should feel bad.
I was slightly serious, but I don't feel bad at all, and I'll never feel bad for anything,
No.
okay? So,
Oh, man. I can't.
unless I truly do wrong. But,
I'll
Even
never
then-
feel
even
bad for
then-
anything.
Even then, I can't.
no, I mean...
Do you lack empathy, Steve? Is that the
empathy?
issue?
Is that what it is?
I think
I don't
so.
know.
Do you
I
lack-
kinda
I don't know.
think that.
I think the
the
empathy
most necessary
is,
thing to be a human?
is gone at this point.
Yeah.
So you're numb,
No,
jaded.
numb to it. I'm ready for war. I'm ready for war, boy.
Ready for a change and all that.
Everybody's been ready for a change forever now.
Yeah.
That's why Obama got in.
Fuck motherfucking goddamn it.
Look, dude, that's straight up. I was in on it too. I was like, because he did talk about bringing troops back that didn't need to be out in the Middle East, and kind of how when he campaigned, I think he did do a good job. And it doesn't hurt the fact that he was black, and we're trying not to fucking be racist at the time.
Well,
And I still think that's true. I still think the vast majority of people don't want to be racist. Okay, like,
I'm not racist at all.
no, I get it, but
I
I'm
don't
just
get
saying,
it.
like,
I'd
that's the
say that is-
change.
I don't get why somebody should be like that to begin with, because I don't see it. I don't see why,
Yeah, it's I don't
I've witnessed it, but I just don't get it.
right, no. I think it's
Well-
definitely inflamed by the media.
yeah, it's a tool.
It's a tool,
It's
exactly.
control. It's a tool.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't know.
It is evil, but like it's a tool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's being used as a tool in today's
We
context.
think a lot of
I
our
can tell you
thoughts
that
are our
much.
own, but they've been placed there.
Yeah.
They've definitely been placed
I agree with that too. I think indoctrination is, I mean, that's everybody's prone to it.
Yeah, and that's why we have shit like this, so we can talk about it. and
Right.
Maybe try to solve something.
Like, how did you get indoctrinated? What do
Yeah.
you believe?
Oh, fuck, dude.
You know, because everybody did it, unless you just are in the woods being
Well, I
raised
mean-
by wolves. Every last one of us got indoctrinated some way, shape, or
I'd
form.
rather go live in the woods here recently. I just
That's
wanna
what
leave,
everybody's kind of leaning towards.
Not too many people gonna like it when they actually do it, though.
It's hard work. It's survival. It's
Mhm.
not a game.
It's no,
Right,
it's no
but there's a
fun.
way, though.
Yeah, there is a way.
I mean, there's a way to navigate around this deception. You know? And it's pretty simple.
One of them's just listen to
I've
them,
been
but I just
preaching
can't
it
do that.
for years, and it's just called just a line in the sand, just a bottom line. You know?
Mhm.
But it's like this thing with Donald Trump. It's the Constitution, right? The Constitution says now, ever since 1974, it's the Nixon administration, it says now that he can't withhold funds.
Mhm.
But it used to not be that way, you know? Thomas Jefferson, Teddy Roosevelt, they all used it to withhold funds for certain reasons,
Mhm.
you know, to other countries.
It makes sense,
But now, you can't do
it's
it.
by a technicality
And
on
not
the
only
Constitution.
that, it was the money management, our government's money management. I forgot, they're called OM something, OMD but that's the acronym for them. But they're the ones that actually withheld that money. And it would have been completely legal because they can withhold it just for a little while, as long as they send a letter to, I think, Congress. There's some type of letter, but they don't have to like get their permission or anything for a certain amount of time. But they didn't send that letter,
Right.
which would have made it legal.
Yeah, I mean,
But I couldn't find anything written, like any statement or written that Donald Trump actually told them to do it. Like I see all these stories.
well,
saying that did.
he admitted to it
In the phone call?
Not in the phone call, but in the
Yeah, okay, because he did say
Yeah.
it was withheld. He said it was withheld because of investigations on corruption.
yeah, which is what he ran on.
Yeah.
So nobody here at this table, I feel like, is surprised at the fact that he withheld
Yeah, and
foreign aid
and he
to
was pointing towards
Ukraine,
the video of Joe Biden,
who also
literally
said,
saying, "I'm going to withhold $1 billion from you unless you fire this prosecutor."
Yep.
Not next week or a month. Take a while, you know.
Yep.
Literally by the end of tonight, I'm leaving in 8 hours, dude. And if he's not fired, you're not getting the money.
and they did.
That's why Trump was like, okay, obviously they're corrupt. Obviously they're getting people in who they want and firing.
Well,
people.
that investigator was supposedly corrupt, and
Yeah.
that's like
each
by-
side is claiming
what yeah,
their
right.
side is
And
corrupt.
I'm sure.
But
if
I mean-
Trump gets impeached, I just feel like Obama and Biden's administration should have got impeached. If that's the case,
That's
so
what I'm talking about. So
that double standard is what everybody has a problem with. And also, like, it just goes to show you that the Constitution, like, it doesn't seem, it's a living document.
Mhm.
Okay, so we should be allowed to change it. And, yeah, I think we should be able to change it when we all want to. That's how the
change it in
Republic
what way?
works.
Because Constitution is basically, unless
Have you read the whole thing?
not the entire
Me
thing.
either.
Yeah,
So, like, and I know it gets
that's what I mean.
crazy.
It gets insane. There's a lot of amendments there.
Yeah,
that change shit up. But the basis of the
and a
Constitution
lot of them were great.
was about the
To-
government. It
to
was
have
about
the amendments.
everything. It was all about the government and taking power away from them, not taking power away from us.
Which is why it has to be a living document.
Mhm.
Which is why, because,
It has to change,
dude, yeah.
eventually. But there's some things that can't be changed. Shouldn't be changed.
Like what?
Well, like freedom of speech, Second Amendment.
Yeah.
See, if you start changing other things,
So
See,
what
I
if
got a
what
problem
if
with that anyways.
you
I'm
ins-
not allowed
but-
my Second Amendment, so technically, what you said in the past is I should still get a gun, basically, because they can't take it
I
away, or
wouldn't get a
what?
gun. I would get something that you can legally have, maybe a black powder rifle. If you're gonna have a gun, that's all you can probably
But
have.
still,
I mean, unless there's war in the streets. All
Yeah.
right? If
Yeah.
there's war in the streets, then that's time to.
It's different.
Yeah,
At
but
that
right
point,
now,
yeah.
while you're just living at your house,
And
there's
I
nothing
pray
going
that we
on.
don't get to that point.
Yeah.
Like for sure.
But I'm.
But
But
what I'm
that's the
saying
thing.
is, I'm ill prepared until that point. I feel like that's kind of unfair because
Get a lawyer. Try to get those charges off your record.
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, you're just gonna have to fight for it. But dude, like that's the thing. Like to other law-abiding citizens, it makes sense that if you do something crazy in society, if you break the rules to a certain degree, then hey, motherfucker, obviously guns aren't for you. You know, like, and I'm not saying that's justified in your case, but I'm just saying like on paper they're gonna look okay, convicted felon. You know, like. Most people are gonna brush that off and be like, well, all right, you
There's a
shouldn't
reason
have
why
a
you
gun.
have it,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's a reason.
But what he was saying is they can't take it away from me is what I was getting
Well,
at. But they have basically.
They can because there is a lot of gray clause when it says a well-regulated militia.
Okay.
So regulated definitely means some form of rules in place to
Yes.
keep the militia not disorganized.
Mm-hmm.
And
guess.
it makes sense because I am really
Again,
into the Constitution.
Yeah.
I think that it should be treated as a privilege, though it's not. I don't think it's a privilege. I think it's a God-given right. You
Yeah.
have the right to it.
You know what I
But
mean?
if you treat it as a privilege, you're more on your toes to not lose it, like, because obviously you can.
Mhm.
You're
Yeah.
And again, I don't agree with them for that. I think that like if you are raping people and murdering
that,
people,
folks,
no,
so-
that's not your case.
I know, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so but there's plenty of reasons to get called a felon, and
Just-
I do find it bullshit. I know plenty of
'Cause I can't
ex-cons.
vote. I can't. Well, I like to hunt. I want to hunt for my own food, and I'm
Yeah,
not allowed to do that.
That seems ridiculous to me.
You know what I mean?
Bow and arrow.
You
Yeah,
can
dude,
bow and
yeah.
arrow, and
I
that
mean, yeah,
it,
but-
dude.
Bow and arrow's a lethal.
Bow and arrow hunting is the way to hunt. Okay, especially if you're talking about getting in shape
Let's get it.
and really knowing the primitive way. Like, hey, if the shit truly hits the fan, I really am good. I can fashion a bow and arrow out of shit in the forest. You can't. It's gonna be
That's
tricky
something
to
good look
fashion a
up,
gun.
Yeah, that's,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I've seen these dudes do it, and it
I wanna
bums
get
me out every time.
Oh, they make
I'm
a
talking
gun?
about
No,
that,
they make a
blow
bow
dart.
and arrow
Oh, okay.
and kill a turkey with it, like
Yeah.
out in the middle of
Yeah.
fucking nothing. And
I've thought
I'm
about
over that.
but also with blow dart and things that
Yeah.
aren't triggered.
Yeah.
Don't
Well,
have a trigger
and
on it.
I love Steve's mentality. He doesn't. You're excuse free all the time,
reals.
Steve. You're always like,
Yeah.
well, fucking do this and like, screw them. Hey, you need a license to open carry. Well, here's my license.
No.
Constitution.
There you
That's
go, right
fine.
there. But I mean,
That's what I'm saying. I can't say that.
It's
They're
just-
gonna lock me up for 20 years. Them exact words.
Yeah.
it's just a spirit that we've lost. A majority of the country is lost, and that's why I'm talking about those colonists yesterday. They had this fucking spirit, dude. Like they wouldn't let a single little tax go on them. Even if it was just nothing, because they thought once they let the government give them this little tax,
You
they
give
were
them
like,
an inch,
you
they
can-
take a mile.
They can, taxes like crazy, and
Yeah.
and it might take 20 years, might take 100 years, but they're like, this is what's going to happen if we let them barely tax us.
Yeah.
Same thing with this Constitution. We start letting them write these amendments, not paying attention to them,
Yeah.
not actually talking to our representatives and people who are, have a say in it being
Yeah.
passed. And that's
Well, it's because this could be like a world. I think the world wars are like a metaphor for what's going on in society, because like everybody thinks World War II was right and good, and we
Mhm.
should have done it. But every other war, like, was complete and total horseshit from there on out and beforehand. Like, what if we didn't, start having this weird, like global get together of sides, then we wouldn't have had World War I, and chances are we probably wouldn't have had World War II. That being also if Hitler would have got accepted to the art academy,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like,
Hitler.
He wouldn't have never.
I would think,
dude, he straight up, I don't think he would have gassed Jews if he got accepted into the art thing.
Yeah, yeah. He wouldn't
So
have been
many
angry
people
about
think
it,
that,
yeah.
and
Just the way
that's the butterfly
I
effect,
just,
right? It
I
coulda-
think a lot of our history is, you know, and I might be crazy, but I just feel like it's fake, man. I feel like a lot of stuff we think and the whole world believes is just fake, and we don't know what the fuck really went on. You know, someone had to. I think, you know, someone was funding Hitler. I think most wars are for a bigger reason, you know, than we'll ever figure out. Most wars are secret, you know,
But
and they got this propaganda.
he
they feed the
did
public.
run a eugenicist
Yeah,
takeover of
But-
all of Europe.
yeah, but that
basically.
eugenicist takeover. I mean, where did he get that from?
Science.
Yeah, the science community.
The rolling science community.
Same thing we were doing in America
Yeah.
already. Same thing that they were doing in fucking Rome.
Yep.
Like, it didn't change.
Well, and same thing that they do in China.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the oldest rolling eugenicist country
Dude,
out there.
China's got some crazy shit.
Bro, the incest is insane from what I've heard. The fucking it's weird, dude. There's a reason like why they look a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And the same thing with white people and everything, but here in America, we all 100% look different
Yeah.
Mhm.
because we're so mixed at this point, and it's just going to keep getting worse. Like all this like freak out on white people, I don't understand, because if you just give it some time, then there are not going to be any white people around. You know what I mean? Like
No, we're all gonna be
I'm
changed.
literally a walking metaphor of that. My kid's
Yeah.
not going to be
Well, it's
white.
just divide and
No,
conquer.
You know,
yeah,
like
I know.
my kid's gonna be dark,
Mhm.
like for sure.
Yeah.
And it's gonna go like that. Eventually, one of your stupid white kids are gonna fall in love with one of your,
No,
yeah, Mexican or Asian. Like, dude, I don't know. I've always liked
Nigerian.
different race. Like, and I've heard that's
Most
that's
of my
good
girlfriends were Mexicans.
Yeah.
My entire life. I didn't ever think I was
Are you
gonna.
because
serious?
they're
End up with a
beautiful,
white-
bro.
Are
white
you
girl.
serious, bro? They're Mexican?
They're gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't hating, but
Remember-
I'm sorry.
I remember one of my
hating, I
first
like
girlfriends was like she was like this cholo. I didn't know. I was just in school, you know. It was a private school, and then she wouldn't like actually date me because she told me she was like my brothers. She was like, they'll fucking kill you. Like, they're
Oh,
cholos.
cool.
Oh, yeah,
She's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, they're bad dudes.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
I'm just sitting there like
Who
this
gives
little
a
white
damn?
kid, like, okay. But you know,
Well,
I keep
to
trying
bring
get
to bring
coffee.
it back to the serious point, that you're right. It's divide and conquer. And dude, everybody is saying this too. I've heard even like people in the protest saying this.
Mhm.
You know, I've heard people get up on their little podium and is like, "Hey, we're leaving at such and such time. You know, whatever happens out here after this, that's not us. We're dipping."
Mhm.
Mhm.
And like they freaking take off or whatever, and then Antifa or whoever, you know, mask up once the clock hits 12,
Mhm.
like clockwork, literally,
Yeah.
and they just like,
Well,
Dead.
it's just we've just been so compressed, and we've been so weakened. Because I'm telling you, we should be out in the streets, not, you know, killing these people. You know, if you get shot, you know, probably take a shot back, but we should be defending our cities. You know, because there's
Yeah.
tons. I mean, we know a guy that lives in Oregon, and he lives kind of close to Portland.
mhm.
And you know, it's all crazy down there, but they're surrounded by people that aren't like that. You know, people with guns, people with land. They're surrounded by them. There's tons of them. There's
over
more.
there.
There's more patriotic people than there are these little Marxists in these cities.
Mhm.
But they don't do nothing about it.
Because they're not allowed to.
Exactly, because the media is going to demonize them. I mean, they're going to get fucking taken down.
Oh yeah, well Kyle Wittenhouse or
Well,
whatever.
he's got a really good lawyer.
They had
on his side right
another.
now.
They had another footage too that showed.
They still
them
are.
attacking him. So.
Oh yeah, and him putting out a fire and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And
No.
he just like
he was literally Superman.
yeah. It's like almost like the CIA
I've
is
seen the
working
other
for us
footage.
now.
Yeah.
And they're in there like
bro.
Fucking making it just as perfect as
You know,
it can
you
be.
attack me and I got a
Set
gun.
up.
Guess what I'm doing? I'm shooting you. He didn't kill him, and he just shot him in the arm. He could have blown his head off.
Yeah, it was perfect.
He could have blown that dude's head smooth the fuck off.
Well, he did blow.
He blew
Well,
his
not
arm
off.
off.
Actually, no.
He shot this one dude in the head, right?
Just grazed
They
his
wouldn't-
head, and it shot him in the thigh and the crotch.
So why did he die? Just bleed out?
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah, and
The thigh,
everybody's
the
like
crotch right
putting,
here,
putting
lower
you know
intestine.
pressure on his little head wound, but that was just a scratch, you know.
Yeah, it didn't look. And I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
well, that was the first thing I thought. I was like, that's not AR.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like
Unless he
grazed
was just full metal jacket, just, you know.
He's like down here bleeding out on
Yeah.
his leg,
Ding.
and then the
Yeah.
Antifa are like putting something
Yeah.
on his
Well,
head.
and he is like more medically, I would think, is more medically inclined. And he even stopped to try and like check him out, right? He went and then they chased him off.
Yeah.
He had a first
he was
aid kit on
defending
him.
himself and the people around him after
It's
that.
it's pretty rough, but I mean,
you know.
dude, this is the
I'm talking about when he
reality.
shot that one dude, you know.
Yeah. Well, the reality is just talking about this, the way we're talking about this, and the color of our skin
It
is
sounds
going
bad, it
to,
looks bad.
it's gonna turn. It could potentially get turned into. But are people really getting that dumb? Are we
No.
really getting this
no,
stupid,
I'm telling
people?
you, we're not.
You know, like I just
Majority of the population is.
I don't think so.
I don't know,
I don't
man,
think so. I think, look, man, I think the media is
because I'll
manipulating us.
yeah.
They're manipulating us.
There is a couple of guys though that I work with, and like they lean left, and they really do, no matter what, think the opposite of even if or what I was saying about Kyle Rittenhouse. Like it's still gonna come out that well, he shouldn't have been there. You know, he was illegally carrying and everything like that, and it's like
Well, it goes back to the point of he was talking about.
that's
they won't
yeah.
let it.
It's like, hey man,
You know what I mean? He was trying to help. You know.
I think it's that
Would you like
American
your
spirit.
business, you know.
Yeah, I think that's I think they got asked. First of all, they got asked to go over there,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and because this has kind of been like, there's guys there now. We're starting to communicate, and I'm not associating myself with them. I'm just saying they're starting to communicate, and
Well, yeah. I mean, if it
You
if
know.
it was coming to our city,
Right.
if we knew that
right.
next Tuesday they're going to burn down
I'm
downtown,
not doing it, bro.
Yeah.
I
we
can't do
would
it.
we would all be like, okay, we're going to go down there, and we'd all hit up business owners and say, hey, we'd like to put 2 guys outside your shop to make
Yep.
sure it doesn't burn down. We'd like to put 2 guys outside this
They
guy's
are
shop,
armed.
and
They are going to be armed.
we'll sit there and we'll say, you ain't burning this one down. Just same thing they did in where was it? Amarillo or Abilene or
I think it
it
was
was
Abilene.
Texas. They had,
There was multiple places. Well, here
one in
when,
Texas. They had a giant mob, and it was I think it was Abilene, and they were
Yeah.
but they stood outside their businesses. I mean, hundreds of them with their rifles,
Yeah,
and nothing happened. They just marched them down the street, and
that's
they
cool.
kind of just surrounded them all day.
I'm pretty sure because
into the
when
night.
I see a gun, I'm like, oh shit, there's, that means business.
And that's what they think too. But
know
what
what I
about the
mean?
guy in Washington D.C. where the mob is outside of his house and they're yelling and screaming, and he's inside of his house, and all he does is just hold his shotgun up through the window
They shot him
and just
or
shows
what?
them. He just shows the crowd the shotgun. They scream, throw some rocks, and then they leave. And then he gets arrested. Now he's arrested now.
Wow.
Yeah,
just-
that's-
for
What
just
do you mean? What is
It's-
that?
It's called
garnishing.
moral policing.
yeah.
This is what's going on.
Well, they
I
claimed
can't deal with that, man. That's unfair.
yeah,
right there.
they claimed it's because
no
they
kidding.
didn't see
It's like
anybody's
conspiracy,
face.
right?
They
Well-
didn't know anybody in the mob.
It's not conspiracy. It's
Well, I
just
mean,
what's
The
happening.
reason why I say that is if you've got 3 people that say that you've done something, they can block you up for up to close to majority
Yeah,
of
no,
your life.
and that's an amendment to the Constitution,
Yep.
by the way.
Is it
that
really?
yeah, that it didn't used to be like that. And that's the
You
issue
know?
though, because there's good amendments that should have happened, and then we were like, all right, and everybody went to sleep.
Dude, the fucking people in Britain before our revolution were more free than we are right now. It was harder to lock them up than it is to lock us up right now.
Yeah,
There was multiple, majority of cases were thrown out because they just couldn't be
but
proven.
dude, this is kind of where I think that there really is like a radical right that also is a threat. I think they're perpetuating some shit too.
Like what?
Yeah.
Like-
I'm not,
Like back the blue during this
Yeah,
whole
I
COVID
agree.
lockdown while they're breaking the Constitution left and right. And I mean, like, blatantly. Any other day, we'd be like, fuck that. But no, everything is now so divided and politicized that we have this race war thing. And for all of a sudden, we now anybody who was supporting Trump or is just, kind of conservative temperament, they're like forced to be like, back the blue now. And now
So they put us in a box.
So they put us in a box, and like now we're having to defend the police who have been shitting and wiping their ass with the Constitution.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally. And the governors and the mayors and, like...
If you say anything about the militarized
But no,
free
dude,
police,
we're not
Black
fought...
Lives Matter now.
We're no longer... With these phones and social media, we're no longer going to do the fighting in the streets or not like in that way. We're no longer going to like go to the courthouse and seize it like we would have done fucking forever ago.
Well, we can.
They did it in Michigan.
You can do it. You just need
Yeah.
numbers. That's the thing. And people are too afraid because they've been manipulated.
Well, they've been shown. They've been shown. We are the proof. Odessa's the proof. We're like, fuck that. Open your bar up, lady. If people don't want to come through, you're just going to be opening your bar up, Everybody understands there's a pandemic. In case anybody hadn't noticed, there's a pandemic.
Yeah, I want to drink,
Yeah.
basically.
So you go at your own risk, You go to the fucking skate park at your own risk. If I run into somebody and they run into me,
I've been outdoors
there's
since
nothing.
the whole thing started. And
I know what's going on. If I break my leg skateboarding, it's not like I'm like, oh, woe is me, because I broke my leg.
Yeah,
Like that's your own.
I did it.
Your own risk. I know what the deal is. So what happened? The fucking sheriff brought up an APC, an armored vehicle, because our police straight up got militarized, and this really is
Wasn't it big?
very. I think it's a very coherent argument for people who want to defund the police.
Mm-hmm.
I see it clear as day.
Well,
Though I think demoralizing the police is a fucking terrible idea. And I think that pushes actually what you're doing, as opposed to defunding and like moving funds away.
well,
But I also agree with the fact that, well, yeah, they do need better training. We need better hiring processes. We need better training. We need to take away the armored vehicles
I think
because that's just weird.
I think
They don't
we
need
need
a
to.
tank. Yeah.
I think we need to just privatize it. Privatize all police departments. That's all we need to do.
Yeah, but what if one dude with money just decides to attack this one other dude with money and
Well,
sends
I
his
mean,
private security in to go do it?
We won't do that. I mean,
Well,
it'll
we kinda
still- it's gonna
already
be
do
It's
that.
gonna be like a militia. It's gonna be regulated, or either that, or we need to have a militia force that has equal force of our police. We need to be able to have a militia force within
Then
every
what's the point of the
county
police,
that has.
the police have to have,
Well, militia are just standby. They're for enemies, foreign and domestic.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're just
I
for
got you,
standby.
yeah.
They'll just be citizens.
Mhm.
So it's like be like a gun club until you.
And
you
not
know.
the mob type militia that's happening where Blue's at.
But every time the police get a fucking rocket launcher, the militias also have to get a rocket launcher.
Well,
And
that's
every
why I
fucking
want
time-
the AR.
Yeah, and every time
They
the
have the
police
AR.
get a tank,
I know, but I don't get it.
a
Yeah.
tank must go to the militia group as well.
I don't
Well,
get it.
and ARs are literally one of the most safest rifles you can have as home self-defense. Because you ever gave somebody who is in the same figure as my wife, who is like 5'3" and
A rifle
almost
so you
100
can
pounds.
carry- yeah.
What we used to have was shotguns and handguns.
And blow
Okay,
your way,
that
blow.
was cops were the same way. They had a shotgun in the truck, and they always
handgun.
carried. And dude, since the Pilgrims, we had a some form of like side arm and then
Yeah.
a back way
For a longer,
on the horse, right?
Yeah.
And that's how it always was. And then rifles turned semi-automatic,
Yeah.
and
Somebody was like, "Wait a minute,"
well, you ever gave? My point is, if I tried to give my wife a 12 gauge.
She's not gonna be able to shoot
She
it.
ain't gonna be able to shoot it.
Yeah, I
And
get
I'm
that.
at
I
work,
get
and
that,
some
yeah.
dude's fucking coming in. She's
The
gonna,
AR's
it's gonna,
light.
it's gonna hit her right in the head.
The AR's light. She can use.
AR's light, no recoil. It's it's not
It's
much
perfect.
bigger than a 22. It's 5.56, 223. We
Shoots
get
multiple rounds.
and it shoots multiple
that's
rounds.
not how we win wars against right now. You know, if the
No.
government, if we had to go against our government, we wouldn't win wars.
No,
like
you
that.
need explosives.
We would at first, the first battles would be used like that because we'd be going in and we'd be getting these politicians
We would
out
lose.
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But once we got our city under our control, then the bigger game's going to start. And it's a whole different battle, and we're not going to be shooting very
I
much.
ain't got a giant ship out off the coast, that's supporting, maybe 50,
We wouldn't be shooting very much.
F-22s.
We'd be stilling a lot, though,
Yeah.
and setting
Them drop the
type of
bombs. You don't
traps
want them
and
to
things
drop
like
the
that.
bombs. That's one thing I don't want.
Nah, man, I think we're they're trying to set up a proxy war,
I
just
think
like
so,
what they
too.
have in the Middle
Yeah.
East.
Hey,
We don't need that, bro.
it's just what it's the same thing that's always happened. They're getting us to divert into something else to avoid us from what we're heading towards.
Yeah.
And that's constantly what it's about. And and that's another reason why I like Owen Benjamin, because he might be crazy, but
That's
dude,
his name. I
he's
couldn't think of it.
he's
out of
always
his
pointing
mind.
out. I love what he's pushing, because if you go watch what he's pushing, he's trying to push people just to fucking get independent. He's just saying, dude, build your shit, get your chickens, get your animals, get your food, get that, get that first. Like, that's the number one thing. And it's so true, dude. I swear, if we all just did that and we were all independent, people, that's the whole part. That's where they take our freedoms away, is they get us dependent, welfare, all this shit. They get us dependent. We used to be so independent that we didn't need them for nothing. Not a damn thing. We ran our own government, our own police, everything. We ran it all, and we were completely fine. We had homes and farms, and we fed ourselves, and we did our own trade. And then, of
Sherman.
course, yeah.
Oh, shit, my bad.
Shit's got to be regulated,
I'm thinking.
and then more and more of our freedoms get taken away, and then they start putting us in cities. We stop growing our food.
Stop having your own water.
Yeah, and then I know you
Power.
buy your groceries from a private business, but it's not. Once it's a fucking giant monopoly.
Well,
not.
it's clearly not,
Yeah.
because they have to do the mandate and enforce it, or else they get fined and you get fined.
Mhm.
And if they don't pay the fine, then they're coming in with guns to arrest you for a warrant because you didn't pay a fucking ticket. So that's the issue. Like, it's always like, it's just a fine. It's cool, you can
The fine is literally
because
just
I don't agree, and I'm not paying for something I don't agree with,
Yeah.
and I stand firm on.
Yeah.
And once then it doesn't turn into a fine; it turns into a warrant for
There's
that
a
fine.
gun at your back,
And there is a gun
with
at
a
your
trigger
face and back.
happy finger.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's very
I don't
true.
want to die 'cause
But
of
but
fun
back
either.
the blue, because they like killing black people, basically.
No, I've never backed the blue. I mean, that's just blind ignorance. I mean, you can't just say back the blue. I mean, maybe back the blue at this moment, back the blue unless
For
they're
this precinct in particular,
back the blue unless
they've been
they're
doing a
going
good
against our
job.
Constitution.
But, I understand why they're here.
Yeah. No, it's pretty understanding. There's a
Yes.
line between order and chaos, and they're right on the front.
And the
of it.
problem is the abuse of power, basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's why people are, getting mad at that you back their abuse of power, is what they're saying.
Right. No, there needs, but dude, it's just like you burnt down the precinct where George Floyd got, and don't care. I'm actually fine with that.
I don't care about George Floyd.
I think
cared-
I think that's an astute
I cared
observation.
until I started listening to this
I've never,
podcast about the revolution, because now I'm just like, dude, that's why. I understand now why their politicians didn't get so corrupt. Because if that politician went corrupt
They
and
fucking
took
tarred
one of their
and
rights
feathered him.
away, yeah, they'd go burn his house down, destroy his gardens, tar and feather his ass, and tell him to fucking start walking down the road.
Yeah.
And then after that, he'd be good. They'd even invite him back in. He could keep
Well,
his fucking
Like, you
job.
hungry?
You
Yeah,
you
you
do know
hungry?
that most people who got tarred and feathered died
No.
from suffocation.
Well,
Hot tar.
most.
Yeah,
I
dude.
mean, I haven't heard any case of that yet.
For sure.
But I've heard about 5 different politicians getting tarred and feathered, and none of them have died. They just went off into hiding for a little while, got that shit off them, and then came back and did their job for the people instead of against the people, and everything was fine. And then next time they did something bad, they left fucking town right after they did it.
Wow.
Dang, look at this. Oh,
See,
man.
this is
Man, look at
Wikipedia.
burns, man.
It says there's no known case of a person dying from tarred and feathered in this period. During the Whiskey Rebellion, local farmers.
Keep going.
That was the 19th century. I'm talking about
Right now, it would suck, dude.
I guess we're talking about the Revolutionary period.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this cat right here.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, sure. That's really loud when you hit that thing.
I know I'm in a bull in the china cabinet, and y'all got me in the weird.
An exception occurred when a British regiment inflicted the same treatment on Thomas Ditson, a
Billeria, Massachusetts
Balearica.
man
Balearica.
who attempted to buy a musket from one of the regiment's soldiers. So they tarred and feathered him and he died?
Yeah, but that was a colonist.
Okay. Well, you know, they did it to them each other
Enforce
too. I mean,
unofficial justice.
I'm saying it was brutal back then, but they just had some type of fear over the politicians, you know. And I'm not saying we should go tar and feather people or burn their house down. I don't think Antifa or Black Lives Matter should burn down any precincts or anything like that. Because another thing is these colonists always try to do things legislatively. Like before they would ever go, they would always write up something, write their representatives, write the Congress. They would always do that first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, unless it was like a heat of the moment mob thing that literally just happened in front of them. You know,
Well, that's George Floyd.
Yeah.
Verbatim.
But I'm just
I
saying.
mean, it happened in front of what a
Yeah, but they didn't instantly start the
17-year-old
mob.
filmed it.
Yeah, but
Hey, they were right around the corner though.
Well,
the
back
very
in the day,
next
what would
day.
have happened was all those people on the streets would have gathered around those cops and beat the shit out of them or something.
Yeah.
But then they would have done that, and then George Floyd would have gotten up and he was on fentanyl, starting acting all crazy, and they go,
The dude
Hey,
was intoxicated.
"Get him!" Like
He
maybe you
wasn't.
should get him.
Yeah.
He was kind of.
The dude was on something.
Well, I
Yeah.
believe that, but it's still
After
you
looking
don't
at it, you know.
definitely
He
don't kneel on the dude's neck on
They
the
do whatever
concrete.
they want to, bro. If you don't listen to them, dude, that's why I don't like going,
Yeah.
you know.
No, he should have just got in and left, of course, but he really even you can maybe argue he was resisting, but when I was watching it, he kind of just went limp, which isn't resisting legally.
No, I watched the whole thing, and he's like tripping balls,
he's
and they're like,
Well, there's
and they're
one
being
point when he
nice.
was getting in the car when he was like,
He's
you should have
overwhelmed,
at
yeah.
that point you should have just went in. But that's when he like
Yeah.
stiffened up and just
You know,
he's a
that-
big
I
dude,
have a
bro.
problem with the law. Just they can put their hands on me, and I have no other choice but to take it. I don't like that and accept that one bit.
It's weird.
know what I
But
mean?
there's plenty of
I naturally don't like that.
yeah. But
Everybody.
if you knew your law, you might be able to get out of it easier.
I mean, I've already gotten out of it before,
Yeah.
so
Well, I'm just saying there's I've
I'd
had
hate to
a
have to do it again, and
I've had a couple of things where a cop wanted to search my vehicle. He had no probable cause or anything like that, and told him I don't consent to any searches. May I be on my way? Give me my ticket, and we're good. You didn't smell anything or what?
no.
Okay.
Like, no,
Give
this
me my
is me,
ticket, and
I'm
we're good.
wrestling
Oh,
with
then
it.
they bring out the
Yeah.
dog, and the dog goes on your. Or no, he just like puts his nose on
Yeah.
the car for a second. They're like, "Oh, there it is, that's cocaine."
Ain't nothing there. Yeah, big old bag. of
Now we
cocaine,
got probable cause because
No, I'm
this
talking
dog.
about,
Yeah,
This dog
but
walked around and peed on your tire. That
Almost
means-
every time.
That means heroin when he pees on the tire.
they
yeah.
almost every time
A
they
lot of
find
it,
drugs.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's when it comes to this whole thing, a lot of this is because of the war on drugs, and it's still going on, and people forgot about it. But people are constantly getting apprehended, arrested, and killed
Yes.
because of drug transaction, drug use, and drug
It
legalities.
controls a lot of people,
So who
Why
started
not
it?
give it to somebody to?
Reagan.
No.
Yeah,
It
Reagan, President
started
Reagan.
before Reagan.
The war on
Reagan was
drugs?
the big
Oh,
guy.
okay. Was George H. Bush? He was before Reagan or after Reagan?
I think it was
After.
After.
Reagan,
Yeah.
Reagan.
Yeah.
Then yeah, it was Reagan.
But dude, it's just been Nixon officially declared it. 1971.
Oh, Nixon.
Jimmy Carter campaigned on a platform that included decriminalizing
Drug
marijuana.
kingpin. Ooh.
Yeah, that would have been astute.
yeah, that'd have been-
That would have been a very good idea.
but too bad they were bringing in cocaine.
Whole lot of.
Well, then deal with the cocaine. But dude,
They're
there
bringing the-
are millions of cases, people's lives being ruined because of marijuana.
Mhm.
Marijuana.
Yeah.
So like, it just kind of gets to like, hey guys, we can sit here and criticize all we want to, but we gotta get to the root of issues. This is a root issue.
It's just
Plenty of people, plenty of cops would not be necessary and be doing a bunch of bullshit like this and wasting times for no knock warrants or whatever the case is. You barged in on this dude's house. They
He's
freaking
just
shoot
smoking
him
a joint, yeah.
because, like, you're barging into my house, you know, like,
I'm gonna. I can't deal
bro.
with that,
And
bro.
yeah, they might be dealing drugs,
Yeah.
but regardless, what did you think was gonna happen?
No, I agree. I think there should be some other type of warning system. I mean, if this guy's just doing his shit,
You
and
can't-
he never gets anything in the mail.
I got an
or
idea.
anything
Time
that's
of
telling him
day,
to go turn himself
period.
in.
Unless a life is being threatened, you operate from 8 to 5, motherfucker. Like, that's how I think it should be. You should never be going into people's houses in the middle of the night, knocking or what. Because I promise you, I'm asleep, all right?
Yeah.
And when I wake up,
Startled?
I'm not cool, okay?
No, I get it.
I'm confused.
I agree with that.
I'm fucking
I agree
ready
with that
to
law
go.
too, because then that would make it to where you know that anytime your door is getting broken in at
Yeah.
night, you're like, that ain't the fucking
Ye-
cops.
exactly.
So boom.
Exactly. Okay? And that's, dude, Breonna Taylor wouldn't be an issue.
Well,
None of this shit would have been an
This
issue.
is how you fix the world right here, all right?
Boom. I'm
Come
a
on.
genius. Kanye.
Dude, I can fix everything. I swear. It's so stupid.
No.
I can fix voting. I can fix it all. I just fucking do what I say, and it'll be fucking perfect. I promise.
Okay, let's vote Steve in
Come
for
on,
our
man.
emperor of the republic.
Come on, man.
Of the empire.
But okay, so it's all about divide and conquer, man.
Exactly.
Because America is it's like a
Stepping out
statue
for a thing.
that everybody's looking at, and it represents freedom, and everybody sees it, and they're like, gives them fucking hope, you know, the
Yep.
whole world around, and they're like, well, we can't have world domination because these fuckers over here have all these guns, and they have this fucking crazy, stupid idea of liberty, you know. They don't, you know. So what we got to do is subvert them. We got to
Yep.
destroy them mentally, culturally,
Morally.
make them take this. We got to at least take this spirit away from them. Once the spirit goes, they'll give everything else up.
Yeah.
That's what happened, man. They've been getting us in our schools. They've been getting us through this drug war thing, bringing fucking drugs in through the CIA, pumping them in all these neighborhoods, and then cracking down with the police, arresting, and then taking our fucking Hollywood and culture and making us just sick and evil. And black people's music, rap, dude. It went from about boogieing and dancing and you know, love and then it went to just like straight up shooting and
Well,
killing
then-
and selling crack and fucking punching hoes.
This is what I was told the difference between hip hop and rap was. Hip hop talked about getting out of the ghetto, and rap is all about staying in it and making it okay.
Well,
But because I think it's safe to say I'm more into that genre than you would be. And there's plenty of legends out there that was not into the fact of brainwashing.
yeah.
Now, one of my black friends did say, dude, racism, thank you. Racism, systemic racism's real. It's just not what everybody thinks it is. And he was saying that, bro, they got us to successfully call each other the N-word.
Yeah.
My friend, he's black, and he's been to prison. You know, like, if you want to stereotype, but like, I'm gonna take his word for it and be like, and just from pure logic, it's like, hey, the N-word's a terrible word. It represents this time of our culture, and we don't want to deal with that.
Yeah,
Okay,
but still,
let's start calling each other that and just make it seem like it's dude. All right, like,
it's subversion, man, through
Yeah.
everything. I mean,
Yeah.
literally everything. It's just all over, even through patriotism
well, dude,
now. I mean,
what's
there's
so screwed is I've said it. I mean, it's part of my vocabulary. I was hanging out with a bunch of people who like to freestyle. Most of them were African American. Most of them, you know, were straight up like, we were trying to be thugs. That's what we were trying to do, and like, it was ingrained into my vocabulary. Now I don't want to say it for my personal, because Caleb York doesn't want to say it anymore at all. The A, the ER, no, I'm done. You know, like, I just, you know, if if I'm like describing a time in history, if I'm like quoting somebody, should I go to jail because I said the word?
No,
you know,
absolutely
like,
not. And that's another
freedom.
thing. That's what I was about to say. Okay, it's a terrible word to say. You should have absolutely every right to say it anytime you want. Period.
Yeah, on a basis,
anything you want to say,
I'm fine with that. But I'm not going to.
I mean, you don't have to. You
know,
don't have to. I'm just
I'm
saying,
not going
don't,
to.
Don't let them take away
and
a
if
word.
somebody has a problem with it, they should have that. They can have a problem with what you got to say.
All speech is necessary to describe something sometime.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
If there's words and things you can't say, then you're not
right.
You're just done. It's like you're handicapped.
So I know this doesn't happen a lot anymore, but if a white dude just started calling a bunch of black dudes the N-word hard, ER, and he gets his ass beat,
I think that's well deserved.
I mean, you know, like, so, is that a gray area?
As long as they settle it between each other. I mean, I think
that's a good way of settling it. I mean, but who does that in their right mind, right? You know,
Nobody.
like he could possibly, the same way with like mass shooters. Who's really doing that in their right mind? Everybody will agree that they're not in their right mind. You know, they're not. There's something going on. Now we can go into the rabbit hole of that, but like they're definitely not in the right reasonable mind that you and I would be in.
Yeah.
Even mad. You know, I'm not gonna go shoot down.
Well, it's just gangster mentality or something. You know, some type of degenerate, behavior that they've instilled in people so they can fill up their prisons.
Yeah,
that's pretty much what it is.
Are you talking about mass shooting, or are you
I'm just talking about subversion of culture?
Okay.
And about schools. What do you think about this thing that Donald Trump's proposing?
The critical race theory?
No, the school curriculum, the 1776.
Right. He got rid of critical race theory and got rid of
patriotic learning.
I think that's weird.
I think it's not. I think it's very necessary, and I think that's one thing that we've been subverted on is our schools. Because now you send your fucking kid to college and he comes back a little commie.
Right.
I mean, what the fuck's going on? We're obviously another fucking country is like putting our curriculum in for our kids, making them hate us.
Yeah.
Like that's not good.
Well, I think as a country, it is super healthy to have a sense of pride instilled in everybody.
Yes.
Because then you're not gonna want to do anything right.
Yeah. That's how it used to be. To get into America, you had to know about America, speak English,
touching the line of extreme nationalism, like I think it takes a lot to get to that point. And I'm with you. Like I think there's definitely more behind Hitler, fascist. I mean, he was a socialist, and Nazis stood for the Socialist Party, right? So, it's I don't know. I can't see a problem, even kind of agreeing with a lot of these Antifa folks that, like, if I'm watching their content or anything, a lot of them who just want like less conquest. They find that property is not a thing, because it was always stolen and everything like that. Now, okay, you may be right. Wouldn't it be cool though to have a wall on our border to say like, hey, we're not going to go past this point and you're not going to go past this point and we're not going to start stealing each other's land anymore. We're going to work with what we got. I think that's like a good idea, like it just makes sense. If you're against conquest, a Canadian border wall.
No, because no one's trying to come in over there. No one's trying to go over there.
Just a southern wall, southern border, basically.
Because America's not trying to flee anywhere.
Yeah, we're not.
Canada doesn't give a fuck. They like it where they're at.
What about the coast?
The coast is its own wall.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, dude, America is a special, not only like our freedoms and all that stuff that we like, America, rah, 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 but America's
I'm just curious.
Geography is militarily wise, strategically put in the most perfect place on the globe to where we would see you coming a mile away, in order to get to anywhere.
Yeah, that's why they can't take us down.
That's why us going out doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
That ever since World War II, the fucking military-industrial complex was built because we were like, all right, we don't want to have any more world wars. We're gonna have some police. We have the moral high ground.
That's the reason, right?
So
there.
we're gonna,
Why are you gonna take
that's
low
the
ground?
reason
why,
why
send somebody out?
World War II happened in the first place. Okay, I'm telling you, it had nothing to do with all this shit. They funded Hitler. They put him in this place, and they said we're gonna show the world the reason why the world needs to be a global government. We're going to show, because right now everybody's going, we don't need that, there's no reason for that. And then we show this world power that can rise up and start taking over the world. And then after they defeat them, they go, okay, now do you want to get in this thing called the United Nations? Now do you want to get in this?
Yeah.
This global thing?
Talk about a global
check. This crazy, scary thing that just happened never happens again?
I agree 100. I think that's totally given even today, because China has concentration camps. Mm-hmm. They've had them.
Yep. Millions.
Ain't nobody saying shit. They've been harvesting organs. They've been doing crazy eugenicist studies. Camps. They've been fucking making shit with DNA, infusing it and making actual aliens. And it's not a conspiracy at this point. No. There are videos. They're saying openly we're doing this because fuck it. Like we ain't got the moral capacity y'all have. And dude, we're just the sidekick. Like China's Batman, and we're the sidekick. We're Robin. We're innocent still, kinda, but we're like getting trained to be terrible. And that's where it's not Batman and Robin truly, because Batman is my dude.
Start getting real with it then. If they're getting real with it, they're basically
No, that's what they want us to do.
Yeah, they really do.
That's exactly what they want us to do.
What we need to do, I'm telling you, is what Owen Benjamin's pushing. I just came to this realization 2 days ago, because it's just that's what we need to do. Get independent. Well, not just independent in our own
when
country,
it comes to that, I agree
individual.
with Owen Benjamin, and I'm sorry you had to go to Owen Benjamin to find that out.
Well, I didn't. I was just, I try to watch his stuff, and he's funny, and
he's funny,
and he tells a lot of jokes, and sometimes he just says stuff that you're like, why, what are you talking about, dude? But then you just look at the big picture and what he's actually pushing, and it's the big picture is great.
You know what I said earlier on. I'm like, Steve, we're gonna have to just have our own little community, our own land, and we've already been planning this. But dude, I end with, I said it won't matter who's president, who ain't.
Yeah, exactly.
We won't care what's going on in the economy. Mm-hmm. All right, fuck that.
Yeah,
we're humans. If we're on top of the fucking evolutionary chain, like they always keep saying we are. Bullshit. That means I can be able to go live on my own much better. Now I don't believe pure isolationist. I don't think that works. I think we really are social creatures. I really do. Yeah. I know I am. Well, I know some people aren't, but I know I am.
Thing is, if you get a ranch or something, you're still gonna have to trade. You're still gonna have to
trade.
Have contact with people.
And I'm not saying against any of that.
Yeah.
We still have
because if your neighbor is unable to trade with you, you're going to help him help you.
Yeah.
And it's going to be it's just this point, this has just gotten too big.
Yeah.
Right? This has just gotten way too huge and unchecked. And I'm not talking about, we can write another law. No. I'm talking about what you're talking about. I'm talking about that tolerance that wasn't there in the revolutionary times. 2% tax raise on our tea.
Yeah,
kill these motherfuckers,
it's even less than that shit, dude. They were pissed.
They were pissed, and man, I really am not a violent person, and I'm not into that. But if it means that my children and family are going to grow up in a non-free society, then I will get violent.
Yeah,
and I will.
But it's just they experienced such freedom that they just couldn't imagine their kids living, the way that their grandfathers had lived before, whenever they lived back in England. They just couldn't imagine it. They were ready to die for it.
Again, this is kind of where I not side, but understand what Black Lives Matter says about you guys have been enjoying good amounts of freedom because your family didn't listen to any of the bullshit. Our family was forced to, because we were, we got taken here regardless of how you think we got here, but we were here not from our own will. Okay.
Okay, well,
And
after they released the slaves, literally 90% of all the slaves that released knew how to read a year later. Literally a year later, I'm telling you, black people were fucking moving up that shit. Once they got released, I mean, I'm sure. I mean, there was still racism. There was still certain parts where
there were
bad.
laws to where they
But these laws were passed by the Democratic Party. Okay,
Right.
These racist motherfuckers that.
But regardless, I mean,
Yeah.
like that's if you can't recognize, like I do recognize that there are not just black people.
Mhm.
That's where I disagree. But there are people in a different caste than
Yeah.
you are in, right? And this has to do with generational wealth, typically.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think so.
And-
I think that's where you're wrong. Because I'm telling you, these slaves. I think it's about culture. It's all about culture. Because these slaves came from nothing, and a lot of them started business. I mean, there was people that came from nothing that just they thrived.
Branched out,
They
yeah.
thrived, and they had their certain little areas, and it was segregated, but they thrived very well. And then all of a sudden,
Until the man
these
came
laws,
in and shut him down.
These laws came in.
And so they had to start over and over and over. And
Yeah.
that
But
has
I'm just
never been the
showing-
case
I'm
with,
just showing
with your
how
family
the
line.
difference between them now is this culture. And that's
Right.
the reason why they think they can't get ahead. Because right now they have everything. Those laws aren't on them. They haven't been on them for a while.
Right.
And they're
I agree. Well, and that's why you have
can't get ahead.
shitload of black people who do get ahead.
Yeah.
They're just
they wake up.
individualist.
They wake up
Well,
from that fucking
and
culture.
and it just there's certain temperaments that brain isn't going anywhere with whatever's happening. There are people, and I feel like there's a lot of them that say fuck that. Okay, there's racist. Okay, there's this, there's that, there's the. I don't care. I'm moving forward.
Yeah.
I got a goal. I'm going for it. And that's why there is a lot of millionaire black people now today. Okay, if it was just, but there's a shitload. I've lived in Dallas, dude, and I lived in the not cool place. And that isn't because I'm white. It's because I wasn't making a lot,
Yeah.
and I couldn't afford to.
Go in, yeah.
Yeah, but it was a shit load of black people in one area. Somebody's gonna think something,
yeah, but
Yeah.
right?
all I'm trying to say is they're hitting on the wrong points. They're trying to point towards slavery, which demonizes all white people in America, when they really should be focusing on their culture and what's happening to their culture.
Yeah.
And they need to go
Yeah.
look back to the 50s and 60s where they had the highest marriage
And I think they're
rates.
still going to come to the same conclusion.
They-
Like, yeah, these
they
fucking
were-
white people wrote these laws and got screwed up.
No, I don't think they should come to that conclusion. I think they should go, hey,
I
this
think-
Constitution here never said that because my skin is black that I can't have
Well,
this.
yeah,
I can't have
Frederick
that.
Douglass-
Those were other laws written in.
Martin Luther King, even Malcolm X used the
Yeah.
Constitution to advance civil
Constitution
rights.
says nothing about skin color. It says all men.
Right.
It talks about all men.
Yeah,
These other laws that were written,
which
like,
is sexist. Now we're back.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. but all these laws that they write, a lot of them are void, and we don't even realize it.
Yeah.
Because we're not constitutional lawyers. We don't even realize that these laws aren't even. They can't even legally be enforced.
With me,
under the
I'm always like,
Constitution.
is it really this easy? I don't even believe like, okay, well, they're trying to enforce this law, but the Constitution has nothing about this. It actually says the opposite. And so I'm like, well, I'll still follow the local law, and then,
Yeah.
like,
because I don't want to get
it's just
shot
it's
in the
just
fucking
weird.
head.
Right?
Shit,
by
I'd go
by
back
the
to,
blue,
We moving
Yeah.
out of this motherfucker.
by the blue, I was backing.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's just ridiculous.
yeah.
So at a certain point, we gotta just be like, okay,
Well, dude, lower that police force. You're gonna have to. We all know that it's been saturated. They had a demand. They needed the supply, so they just started hiring, just based off of like paperwork, and based off, dude. Lower that police force. Get more competent people in. Get people who are really willing to self-sacrifice, because that's what you really
and not
need.
only that, but see, there's one thing I kind of agree with Joe Biden on, or maybe Kamala Harris said it. She said it back in the day, but she's talking about how getting
As a talking
police just for certain, keeping them in their same neighborhoods.
Oh yeah,
The same police police the same neighborhood, so you get to know your
Like,
cop.
motherfucker, I grew up with you.
Instead
Why
of-
you really writing me a ticket on this?
Yeah, instead of calling the police and some random guy always shows up.
Yeah,
Like,
some dude
you'll
from
know the guy.
North Carolina.
You'll start,
like,
you'll
fuck are you?
call him and be like, dude,
Yeah.
That's what it should be.
No, and I agree. And you just, dude, if there was more competent, you wouldn't have to throw bodies at it. This is where we differ from China.
Yeah.
All China does and why it's still shit. Still shit. And they constantly have to steal our intellectual property all the time because we left it to individualism and we left it to localities. And they leave it to throw as many bodies as you can at this project.
Yeah, Communist Party.
And it's going to take a long, you would think it takes a shorter amount of time. Yeah, it's built. Might be leaning on a little bit. Might need to throw more bodies at that here.
Innovation cannot happen without
this
liberty.
one dude sits back and was like, fuck that. I don't feel like carrying that. I'm going to engineer.
Yeah.
That's where we differ, dude. You can't be throwing bodies. They need more funding for better training. I wouldn't mind that, if they were in jiu-jitsu, if they were like very well-rounded in jiu-jitsu, you would definitely see a lot less killings. Like, because jiu-jitsu, that is, man,
not offensive.
You've been in judo? All right, so like I only lasted like 2 weeks in karate before I was like, I'm going to skateboard and you guys go fuck yourselves. Okay? That discipline that's required, it's pretty substantial. And at that young age, since I had the freedom to choose, I didn't choose that. But like, if you're a authority figure, if you have a gun and are able to kill anybody, literally, and probably walk away, like I'm all for getting rid of qualified immunity as well.
What's that?
I think. Well, you know what? I need to do more research. But the way it was, let me pull it up.
Just describe it. What do you think it is?
Okay, yeah. Let's say what we think it is. What do you think it is?
I don't know.
Okay.
Qualified immunity?
Yeah.
Like, so immunity across the board or
like
qualified?
If you're a cop,
have immunity.
then you are probably going to be put in a situation that qualifies you
to shoot a person.
to be immune
I
to
think
murder.
we all have that.
Yeah,
I think we're all qualified to shoot somebody.
They're not. That's what I was getting back to.
Because you're a human
Why
being
can
and
you
other
touch
human
me
beings
and I
might
can't
try to
touch
kill
you,
you.
But this
you
could
know?
be a very qualified immunity is judicially created doctrine that shields government officials from being held personally liable for constitutional violations.
That's not
like
good.
the right to be free from excessive police force from money damages under federal law so long as officials do not violate clearly established law.
When was that passed?
When was
Just put date at the end.
now that was from lawfare. Okay, 1967. What a fucking coincidence! They were killing so many black people
right during the drug fucking war.
Oh,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Right when they're shipping in all this cocaine. And
So
all these
again,
drugs.
dude, like I'm
That looks bad.
Right whenever they're getting all these little
I'm
black
with the
kids off the
Pauls,
street
dude.
who are freestyling and going, "Hey, dude, start singing about this. Start singing about this. Start singing about this."
I'm with the Pauls. They might be crazy. I guess I'm crazy, dude.
So
Ron Paul and Rand Paul. Like this is how it's always been with me. You remember we were making Ron Paul t-shirts back in 2008 and
I
stuff
love
like
Ron
that.
Paul.
Yeah. Well, and then we went through our political cycle, right? Growing up, learning. Started like we were radical left, screw this, because they actually had the moral high ground. Like there's always a pendulum swinging, right? And they had the moral high ground with Bush in office, 9/11. I mean,
but it's
still
still the
with it.
same fuckers.
Yeah.
We're just too stupid.
Yeah, but we didn't know, right? And then it started swinging. We started learning what life really was. Hey, maybe I want to be a good attribution to just this existence, right? Maybe I should hammer down and have a kid or have a wife or have a talent or have a cow. Just start. Maybe I shouldn't just be getting in trouble all the time, thieving and sneaking and stealing and
being a
whatever
real piece of work.
Yeah.
Damn
it.
But I'm always going through all these little cycles and looking at how life and how I interpret it and what's going on in politics. I always circle around and it always lands back with Ron Paul's stuff, dude. Every single event. Like every single time.
I guess
Gay marriage. What's your stance? It's like me, I was leaning left. I was like, I don't think, I think that's ridiculous. I think the church does, a lot of bullshit when it comes to our laws, and I think it should be separated, like church and state, for sure. That needs to be separate. And but that's not what he says. He's like, why is government in marriage? Period.
Yeah, I agree. I
You
agree
know?
with that.
So it just like, well,
Hey, that's straight up. That's straight up.
like,
Question right
you're
there.
right, dude.
Why is government in marriage?
Dude, and here's what's even crazier. They were, excuse me, they were mobbing around Rand Paul and his wife. Dude, this huge mob.
Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, down the block. He's just trying to get to his place. And they were mobbing all around him. They were definitely going to kill him if he didn't have security,
Yeah.
for sure. They were going to lynch his ass.
Get you. Yeah.
He has been battling against no-knock warrants.
He's the only
since
one, right?
The only one. The only one.
So that's what I'm saying. It's all manipulated. These people on the streets
That's
don't know
my
what the
proof
fuck
right
they're
there.
fighting about.
Yeah.
They don't know what's going on.
And I disagree with
And
that.
we're sitting here going, okay, we're just buying ammo.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? What's going to happen?
Okay.
I don't know what's going to happen, but tyranny comes my way. I'm
I'm
going
buying
to try to shoot a bullet at it right between the eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's all I can do. And I hope my kids grow up and do the same thing.
Yeah.
And I hope their have kids before
That's
they do
where
it.
Everybody's at nowadays. That specific.
It's just,
And
we
I agree, man.
don't
It's-
agree.
I don't know if you've noticed, but like out in the oil field, like, most of the time before all this crazy shit happened back in, Obama or shit, there'd be like these guys that don't talk politics, they just talk sports.
Yep.
But that's not like that anymore. The guys that are used to talk sports, I mean, I'm just saying,
talking
literally
politics.
everybody is like right now the same thing. You can ask them about it, and they're like, where to get ammo? they're
straight
talking
up.
about their guns and their ammo, and they're talking about something coming.
Yeah.
Like they don't know what it is.
Straight
some
up.
guys say Civil War, some guys say this, some guys say that, and I'm just like, I'm just glad you're all buying ammo and y'all have guns now. You're all,
And y'all all seem to kind of like me.
yeah, and you're all kind
Yeah,
of talking about how I've been talking about since like I was 15.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you're finally coming around.
Yeah. For sure.
But
I agree. It's that's the issue. That's the issue right there. I mean, it's just so convoluted, and I think our best bet is to have stuff like this, to be like to not budge. Like, look, I'm making a stand. They're trying to create and has successfully create a proxy war. Okay, you as an individual don't need to think that that's okay. You don't need to choose a side. None of this is necessary at all. And we fucking know it. It is up to you, and it is up to all yourself to be a good person, to show the other person how to be a good person. And we'll just start, moving right along, and don't try and infringe onto other people's liberties. Just because they don't think like you exactly doesn't mean anything, right? It just, they don't think like me. That's okay.
Yeah.
But they're trying to do a proxy war. Let's not partake. Let's do our
build
thing.
militias and
Yeah.
grow some food.
Grow some food, and let's bring it back.
Yeah,
Let's bring it
it's-
back to
and that's the thing why they're freaking out so much right now, and they're pushing so much right now, because they know that we're actually pretty close. Like if we wanted to and we all got together, we could actually bring it back, or else
Yeah.
they wouldn't be pushing so fucking hard right now.
Yeah.
They know that we're close, and that's why I still have faith in Donald Trump, because I think he's scaring the shit out of them still, and I see like this thing about the Constitution. Okay, well, that's an amendment. President used to have power. And the only thing that they did that make it illegal was not send that letter. They just have to send this one letter to Congress to let them know that they're withholding the funds, and it's only for a certain amount of time. And he did release the funds after that time.
Yeah.
So
Before the time.
yeah, so he didn't do anything actually wrong, except the Department of money management, I think, or something, monetary management or something like that. I can look it up if we need to.
It's right here. The same. Was this what you were reading?
No, I was looking at the other thing about him withholding that money. But anyways,
Right.
There's just one thing that they did. They didn't send a letter to Congress, but they still let it go at the appropriate time, and it was for the investigation, obviously. But I mean, should our presidents? I think they should be able to withhold money, foreign money.
I think I can ask a different question, and we can come to an answer easy. Do any of us really want or care to have any sort of foreign aid going out to Ukraine?
Yeah, well, any
What
country.
are we doing?
It's the Hitler thing. It goes back to Hitler.
Yeah,
That's why fucking Hitler almost took over the
it.
world, so now we got to pay everybody and
they need
rule
help.
the fucking world.
And blah, blah, blah.
No.
Okay, well, everybody needs help. Yo, we need help. We are murdering babies.
Ourselves, yeah.
Okay,
Literally,
we're
not good stuff.
killing almost 1 million babies a year. Well, they're not babies; they're a clump of
I bet
cells.
it's more than that.
Oh, I'm sure that's what's
Look
recorded.
up how many abortions there are.
It's under 1 million. I recently did this, but it's like 880,000 or something like that. But I mean, dude, clump of cells, whatever you want to call it. That's a life that you're murdering. How many abortions does the U.S.
You want to close out with that song here in a minute again?
I'll close you out. Nation's abortion performed 345,000. So I know that abortion rates have actually gone down. They've been going down consistently since
this year. You got to go back to like 2015.
There was a way better diagram that I was looking. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. CDC surveillance reports. 2013, yeah, so a little bit over 500,000.
Golly.
Do the 43 more rows.
Yeah, dude, it's been consistently going down though.
Yeah, right there. Go down.
Down here?
Yeah. It just spiked in 1978.
Dude. No shit. Well, it started just going up.
1 million.
1972. From 1970, it doubled. It literally doubled. But this is kind of right when the drug war, welfare state, and all that stuff was getting fucking established.
Now it's gone
and
down.
now we're going down.
Yep.
Okay. No big deal. We were just, 1992. Let's look at my year since my birthday's tomorrow. 1.3 million.
1.2 million.
I could have easily
1.2 million.
That's not cool.
Yeah.
Anyhow, that's not okay. So like until we figure out how to not murder life. And by the way,
see, it's voluntary.
Let me pull up when life begins. I seen a Princeton study. Because when that egg gets fertilized, it's
Conception.
a zygote.
Yeah.
Dude, that you are making a human. From that point on, you are making a human.
Mm-hmm.
Might not be, it might not be a baby, but
That's
that
a
is
baby.
life, all right? And you can't tell me, it's just a clump of cells, couple of cells. Well, you're just a couple of cells.
Yeah. So I'm gonna abort you right now.
Yeah. Bam.
Let's have a public gathering of abortions. I got a lot of people out there we gotta abort. These clumps of fucking cells.
Abort!
Mm-hmm. They can't survive on their own.
2319.
That's some of their arguments. Is I love that one. That
Dude,
argument.
yeah.
They can't.
You
they
have
can't
a human
survive
egg.
on their own, man.
You have a human egg and a human sperm. Their sole purpose in life is to meet each other and fuse and create one cell human being. Bro,
Yeah.
that is, you are murdering. Okay?
It's like a
So
battery.
I'm
That's what
I'm
the
all
battery
I'm all for
starts.
the libertarian kind of argument with, hey, the government has no say and shouldn't be in my vagina or anything like that.
Yeah, but there's another
Okay,
they're human.
But we're also going to have, this is where I'm like, well, you got to have rules, okay? Any fun game you want to have, the game has rules. And the rule is you can't murder.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So once it's an actual
You know,
human,
yeah,
you can't murder it.
yeah.
I agree.
No, I think,
I don't know, man. The rest
So,
of
and this
life
is a
doesn't
human.
Seem to think that though.
no, well, because they're,
Sensitized.
No, I'm not talking about
Yeah,
as
they're
a human being. I'm talking
desensitized.
about the rest of life in general, nature in general.
Nature.
Just not.
Yeah. Well, that's what separates us from
Well,
beast.
I know that, but
Empathy.
gonna
I
get to
think
that, yeah.
you were saying that earlier.
empathy and love is what Darwin said.
Well,
Yeah.
fuck now. I don't believe that anymore.
Darwin, you're a little off, aren't you?
Yeah, come on, dude.
Very weird.
Fucking
Very
Darwin.
weird.
Like, well, the dumb ones die because they fall off of tree limbs, but human beings made it to the top using the opposite of let's just get rid of the dumb people. You know, like.
Well, hold on. I think we've been getting rid of dumb people for a long time.
I think we've been getting rid of evil people for a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we stopped all of a sudden and we put them in power.
Yeah. Yeah, we're
We
like,
gave them everything.
here you go, man. Thank you.
Trillions of dollars.
Thank
I
you,
wanna see what's
Genghis
up.
Kong. Here.
Yeah.
Just, oh man, that's a rough time.
Keep going.
What else?
I want to keep going on this. Let's see.
Okay, well,
Let's see it.
that's an 8-cell human embryo. What's up?
A3 right there. That's what it starts. That right there.
That's what I'm trying to do. Know what I'm saying?
Hey, y'all keep talking. I
Why?
gotta make a phone call.
To who? That's gay.
He needs to smoke cigarettes. So it's really
Oh, okay. Needs a nicotine fix.
I'm gonna scoot on over here and see what's up.
Scoot on over.
See, I wanna
So
look
Sherman,
at this.
we're jamming, bro.
Oh yeah.
We got a new song. I can't wait to master it.
My question is, let me turn this off real quick. Now I can see what's up. My question is, you said you want to start recording in here. When do you want to get ready for that? Because I want to be legit ready. Like, I need to get new heads and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's probably gonna be a couple of weeks.
Mhm.
I would say we could do it for next month or at the end of this month, or we could do it during the week. All I'm getting at is next weekend we could do it. If you had the time, we could do it next weekend.
Yeah.
But I may have another podcast coming up.
Okay. Yeah, that's why I was asking.
So, and then the week after that, I'm on call. And if it's anything like last week was, I will be
Tired.
gone.
Yeah.
Like, where's Caleb?
Nah.
Oh, everything's on fire out here. It's only me. I'm freaking out. Anyways, individual human life begins at conception when a sperm cell from the father fuses.
with the egg from the mother.
Yep. To form a new cell, the zygote, the first embryonic stage. The zygote grows, divides into 2 daughter cells, which grows and divides into 2 granddaughter cells, and this cell division growth process continues on over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, and people, I guess, aren't accepting the fact that when they fuse, that is when the life starts. Is what you're getting at.
Yeah.
That is
Well,
exactly-
and also, they want to focus on the external. Like, what if the mom and the dad? What if the dad dies
and she can't fend for
and
it,
she can't,
or just doesn't want it? There's a lot of people.
and you're basically forcing, the mother to have the kid that she doesn't want, dude. But my thing is, y'all had to get damn close to one another, you
real.
know,
Yeah, I know that.
consensually.
You played.
Statistically, we're talking about the majority of the times it's consensual. Okay,
That
very
orgasm
few
was
is
good,
rape.
wasn't it? You
Yeah.
know?
yeah,
Type shit.
and so it's like, bro,
just
have
had
them
to
wrap
have
the
it.
tool. How about we just start having sex with people who are worth the shit for our time,
Yeah,
you know?
get along with.
and that you get along with, that y'all are both on the same page, dude. We, again, like what Steve was saying, we've just desensitized. That's it. Love making became fucking, like straight up. Love making became fucking, and we're like,
The term whore is for male and female.
yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
where it came from back then. You used to get lynched for being a whore, right? Too.
Yeah, you got stoned for
Stone. That's
adultery.
even worse than tar and feather. And I'd rather be tar
yeah.
and feather.
Yeah.
than stoned
Well,
to death.
hey, we just debunked that shit that I was told in school that, people die from getting tarred and feathered because the tar clogs their pores, and you actually do a lot of breathing through your skin, and like
Burn.
if it constricts your chest, like then your lungs can't expand
Yeah.
and stuff, and like it all, he had a very compelling argument, but
Yeah.
both times, both in different timelines, they said there's no recorded death.
It's just
Yeah,
burn, really bad burn.
And that's the thing too, is we've been pussified. I swear, like people back then were such badasses. They'd get tarred and feathered, and the next day they'd show up to work. Like it was like,
Oh, guys, man, I was being a dick.
I'm sorry, man. You gotta walk around like that for a month, dude, before he finally gets that shit off.
Oh, dude, are you gonna play us out? Are we done? An hour and a half? Okay, that's gonna make easy edit. Jesus Christ.
I know. Sherm, we gotta teach you some podcast etiquette.
Well, he just needs headphones. So, because if he heard that, then
Yeah.
he wouldn't have done it.
Yeah. Where's my locket right here?
Okay, are you done? I don't have anything to play.
You gotta play some of that song?
I thought you said you did.
No, I don't.
Bro, you could do Too Strong. I'll sing it right now. Is that gonna work?
Waiting on you.
Oh, get some drums in there, Sherm. I like it. We get some phlegm. How many more times must you play with my mind? Too many to count. Best stay in line. Nah, I won't submit. And yes, I'm well armed. Constitution getting rid. Time to sound the alarm. No, I'm too strong. Said I'm too strong. Spiritually. Don't tread on me. That's a bad idea. Those who wake from their sleep on a new frontier. Beware the devilish schemes. And better pick a team. Keep your faces in the phones. And get pulled the extremes. I'm too strong. Said I'm too strong. Spiritually. Okay. I won't sit and be tamed while you enjoy your chains. Divide and conquer is the name of that game. Can't keep me down. Won't budge an inch. No, I feel the spirit all around. 1776, I say I'm too strong. Nah, we're too strong. Let's go. Ugh. Let's go.